sales. You guys, I don't know if you've heard about my gut seminars. We've done things about sales before. But I wanted to talk about a different aspect of sales. I wanted to talk about the marketing this evening. I'm seeing a lot of things out there, and I see them as substitutions, but not necessarily beneficial. And believe me, this is very subjective and opinionated what I'm going to talk about tonight, and I'm sure Henry will disagree with some of these things I'm going to bring up. But I think I'm a big believer in direct marketing, belly button to belly button. We need to do our marketing so we speak to enough people every day, and that's the bottom line. Are we okay, Henry? Everything working nicely?
Claude, can you lift up your screen a little bit so I can fill it out, because it's cutting off a little bit on the bottom. So raise it up a little bit. If you can, try to fill up as much as you can on the screen.
Okay. Is it all right with my headset? Should I go? Okay. And I'll go to the full screen in a minute. I like us to see each other, but I'll go to a full screen. But the bottom line is, folks, we're spending. I'm getting a lot of clients coming to me talking about spending a great deal of money for things like yellow sheet letters, postcards, virtual assistants. And I'm hearing about these amounts of money that are being spent, and I'm wondering if it's worth spending all this money, because if you're getting the leads and you don't know what to do with them, where do you go from there? And I'm going to break this down in a moment here. Let me, Henry, can I do a quickie commercial here, or am I going to be another tacky guru here?
No, go right ahead.
I got a great deal for you guys. I'm just going to get it out of the way here. My Guts package normally sells for $5.95. We got 20. We're going to do 20 digital packages tonight, and on my webpage I sell it for $5.95. $99 tonight to the first 20 people who either call my number 970-281-5151 or just go to claudediamond.com and click on the link. It says the Guts Classic Webinar Special, and you get the $5.95 package digital version. You're going to get that tonight for $99. You can just put it through PayPal, or you can call my office there. There's a special link. Henry, you were going to show, what were we going to do? Show them that link real quick?
I'm going to have that link there in the chat box here real quick for them. So it shouldn't be an issue.
Here it is. I can show them this. I think I have it somewhere here. It's going to look just like this, folks. And you just click on the card here, and then you go here, and you're going to go right there and to my web page, click on the webinar Guts Special, and check out, okay? And we only have 20 set. Oh, 3 of them are sold already. How nice. That's pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to go right ahead and go back to what we were talking about here. This is kind of I see a lot of people using their secrets. For all deeds and purposes, they're not getting they're waiting for the phone to ring, or they're spending a great deal of money on leads, but they're not necessarily acting on those leads. Number one thing is the yellow sheets. A lot of people are doing mailers. Unfortunately, some of the lists that they're mailing to, the list is very weak. When they're getting people on the phone, they don't have a sales system, so they spend all this money to get these leads, but then they don't know what to say, or the people they're training to answer the phone don't know what to say. A lot of this marketing, I'm finding, is very, very repetitious. People are getting the same marketing materials constantly. And now I think we just had an increase, Henry, in the postal costs, so for letters and for postcards, so it's getting very expensive. The other pet peeve I have is the timely follow-up. People are not following up immediately. I'm talking to people, they're getting these leads, but then they're letting them sit and fester. These leads need to be called and follow up right away. You wanted to talk about that for a second, didn't you, Henry?
Yeah, that's one of the key things here, you guys, is the follow-up. I'm going to tell you, I see it so many times where some of the people that I've coached and mentored, where I've actually, I've given them leads. And the funny thing about it is they just call them one time and leave a message and then never get back to them, And so that's very key, being able to follow up, have that system, some sort of contact management system that you guys want to be able to have, to consistently follow up, because that's where the money is. You've always heard that term, the money's in the follow-up. And that's the thing. I always say, you hear that saying, Claude, right time, right place. And I don't believe in that. I believe in the right time with the right opportunity, because in that situation, you want to be on top of their mind first when there's some sort of life event that happens. It may happen where there may be a death, a divorce, or some sort of financial situation where they need to go ahead and essentially be able to act on that, so that when that one individual or that seller calls at that point, or that certain opportunity arises, you're the first one they call, because they've had 3 or 4 messages from you, or maybe a couple of letters.
When I get a lead, first thing I do, I want to pick up the phone and call these people. You cannot do business in real estate, life insurance, or anything else by sending emails back and forth forever. Somebody has got to be the enforcer. Somebody's got to be proactive. You get a lead from your marketing, from your yellow letter, postal, or your virtual assistant, you have to call that person within a few hours. That's how critical it is. It's a critical mass. Right now, they're focused on doing a transaction or a deal. They have heightened awareness, so they have an interest. And if you don't act on it today, right away, you're going to lose that sale. I'm talking about 24 hours or less. That sale has a 50 to 95% chance of dying. So when you're spending all this money on marketing, pick up the phone. Call these people. And for those of you who don't know what to say, use my gut system. Okay, it takes away all the stress, and we've gone into the gut system a lot of times, and I don't think we have the time for anything close to it tonight. But you've got to be proactive. Pick up the phone. Hi, Mr. or Mrs. Prosway. Let's do a quick role play, Henry.
Sure.
Hi, Mr. Serrano. My name's Claude Diamond. I see you called. I think it was about the postcard or the letter we sent you. How can I help you, sir?
Well, that's the thing. I'm just giving you a call. I've got this postcard here just in regards with my property.
Do you mind if I ask you a few quick questions, sir? I'm with Diamond Consulting Group. I'm a private investor. We're looking to do a transaction, a real estate deal in your area today. Are you prepared to sell your house, or do you want to do a rent-to-own, or what do you have in mind, sir, today?
Well, I need to sell the house. I actually need to sell it yesterday.
Why is that, sir? Oh, good. Off the role play. We got a motivated seller here. This is what we're just spending all this money for. The guy who said, well, I just wanted to see what it's worth. I was curious and everything like that. That's someone you take and you put in your Dropbox, you put in your file, save them for a rainy day. We're looking, remember the rules that I've talked about previously. Why are we in business, Henry?
To make money today.
Today, baby. It's all about today. When we have to act on these leads. If you're going to spend thousands of dollars on all this different kinds of marketing, you've got to act on these leads while they're hot. You've got to ask the right questions. You've got to develop their needs and greeds. You guys know all about that. And you've got to send offers today. So, Mr. Serrano, back in the role play, if I could find a way to so we could do business, I look for either price or terms. If we could find a way to do some business today, and I send you an offer today, can you get back to me by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and could we find out if we need to move, if we can move forward, or if it's over? Is that all right with you, sir?
It is. It just depends what you're going to offer my price for.
What do you want, sir?
Well, I want $250.
50 what, thousand Cougarans, pistachio nuts? What are you looking for?
Yeah, $250,000 cash.
$250,000, and you've done your homework. That's a reasonable comp from the last 30, 60 days, right, sir?
Well, I think it's reasonable.
Oh, good. Well, you must have put in new toilet seats or something, right? I'm being facetious. You guys know me. Okay, but sir, if you think it's reasonable, and I look for one of two things, Mr. Serrano. I need either price or terms. So if I give you full market price on your home, can you give me terms? And then we go back and forth. I find out, is it a price deal, wholesale, below market, or is it the terms that I want, a rent-to-own, owner financing, subject to, owner carries the paper, something that I can build on. And I immediately tell him I'm going to send him a contract. This is where most of your other gurus are they're not making you proactive. You get somebody on the phone, even if you can't do the deal, send them an offer. Okay, back in the role play. Henry, if I send you an offer today, would you promise, could we talk tomorrow at 10 o'clock and you can tell me if it's of interest to you or if it's over? Can we make that 10 o'clock sharp, please?
Well, I don't get off work till 5.
Oh, 5 o'clock at night. It's my grandmother's 100th birthday. You know what? She'll be 101. I'll make an exception. You definitely can call me at 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, about 5:30 would be right. That gets me enough time to get home.
Boy. Can we split the difference, 5:15?
All right, 5:15.
See, I off the role play. Never give him anything. Your time is valuable. He's got to respect you. He can't let him think that you just came from a Ron LeGrand, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Donald Trump seminar and you're sitting around doing nothing. Let him know you're a player. Act like a millionaire. What does a millionaire sound like? Okay, it's someone who's busy, whose time is valuable. Don't sound like a schmo sitting around listening to old guru tapes from 1984. Get involved in the deal. Get involved, make them proactive, get commitments, and get the contract to them. So thank you for that, Henry. I always love doing a couple role plays real quick. Let's talk about these yellow letters here for a second. I think, and you can disagree, I think they're overused. I think everybody and their mother gets 10 of these yellow letters if they have a property for sale or they're an absentee owner or for some reason they got on some, unfortunately they got on some list. I think they're expensive. Mail, what are they up to, Henry? 60 cents to $1 per mailing now?
Yeah, I would say pretty close to $1 now with the printing and postage and everything else.
It's $1 a mail. So if you're mailing out a couple thousand of these, you folks do the math. A lot of people now, they're not having the direct phone number. They're having the phone number go to a 3 to 5 minute voicemail. Ask me what my opinion is on that, Henry.
What's your opinion, Claude?
The opinion is based on fact because I've talked to a lot of people. These long commercial voicemails, basically people are listening to a long commercial. The hang-up rate, my understanding is the hang-up rate is like 95% of the phone calls they receive. Why do you think they're hanging up the phone?
Oh, because they're tired of them. They hear the same old thing over and over again.
We're inundated with commercials, with advertising, with recordings, with people soliciting unrequested phone calls. Now you get a thing in the mail, don't mistake me, ladies and gentlemen. I think these are great ideas. I love that some of these letters look like they're handwritten and everything, and you're spending all this money, but then you're sending them to a voicemail. No, nay. You want to answer. Listen, we have to use voicemail. I'm a practical person too. But you want to get it so that they either leave their name and phone number or shorten this recording to 30 to 60 seconds. Don't make it the world's longest commercial. And then try to answer as many calls as you can. And if you can't do it, get an answering service. We did some checking today, and we found, I believe, that you can get answering services for $30 to $55 a month and have a professional person answer the phone for you and capture the name, the phone number, and any other information. Why is that important to me, Henry?
Well, I mean, the thing that you want to be able to do is because you'll be able to capture that information if it's a live voice. What's been proven here is if it's a voicemail, most people, they'll end up hanging up. They don't want to deal with it.
They don't want to deal with it. I have a client who told me that he had something. He just did a big mailing, pretty expensive. He got 25 phone calls, people who actually left their name and phone number, and he had over 300 hang-ups. Okay. Now, the hang-ups can be valuable, too. I mean, because if you some of these systems out there can actually capture the caller ID, and you can call people back, by the way. Do you know how to call someone back on a hang-up, by the way? Do we call people back on a hang-up? Let me ask you that.
Well, the only way they're going to be able to do that is if their system tracks that phone number. That's the only way to do it.
And there's some pretty, I think Joe McCall and some of the people have talked about this tracking. I think that's brilliant, by the way, if you can track the hang-ups, too. Say hello.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi there. Sir, my name is Claude Diamond. I see you were trying to reach me the other day. How can I help you?
Well, I just received something here in regards of you wanting to buy my house.
You don't know who the hell I am. You were a hang-up.
Oh, I was a hang-up.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Claude Diamond here. Got your phone number in front of me. How can I help you today?
You know, I don't know. I mean, who are you?
My name's Claude Diamond with the Diamond Consulting Group. A lot of people call me about real estate for sale or for rent. That wasn't what you called me about, is it? You don't have anything for sale or rent.
Well, yeah, no, I do have a house for sale.
That's it. How can I help you, sir? Boom.
Well,
Now the nexus is on you. See, all the pressure's off me. Now you've got to explain, well, I called because I was thinking of selling my home. I want to see what it's worth. Whatever. The thing is, I can call back people who've hung up
right.
and do that. So that's okay, too. But you got to call them back, and you better do it pretty quick to find out, are they a hot prospect? Are they a motivated seller? Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Clyde, can you move your screen over a little bit more? Center it a little bit more. Sorry about that, guys.
Like that?
A little bit more to the left.
Boop.
Oh, you know what? I think we got a screen freeze here, you guys. Sorry about that. There you go.
How about now?
Okay. Now it's
okay. There we go.
perfect.
So what I'm saying is, if you're going to go to all the time and expense, make sure you either have an answering service, spend a little bit extra money, so if these people call you and you're at work, you can't take all these take all these phone calls. Make sure there's somebody, a real live voice, rather than a 3-minute voicemail. It's just the way I do business. I want to talk to as many people. Same thing with postcards. Okay, a lot of people are mailing out these postcards, thinking about buying or selling. Postcards are cheaper. Once again, the quality of the list, okay, and the consistency. You know, where are we getting these lists from, Henry? That's the big question I ask. Some of these lists are just absentee owners. Some are from mail list services. What's the quality of these mailers that we're doing to people? Are we just mailing to people who unfortunately are on a list and they're inundated by this sort of thing? It's all, to me, it's all about the direct call and the marketing. I don't care how much you spend, but are you getting value for what you're doing? Are you, if you tell me, Claude, I spent $5,000 this month on postcards, I'll say, okay, but did you get 1 or 2 deals that paid for it all? Then it's worth it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever you're able to put it into some sort of dollar figure, that's the thing. And a lot of marketers do that, Claude. They're able to go ahead and predict if they mail out 10,000 letters, they're going to end up getting 2 houses with a profit margin of 25,000. Now you've got some hard numbers.
Exactly. And just, you know, so these are good marketing methods, but they've got to lead to direct marketing, real people answering the phone. One of the things I do, by the way, when I get a contact, if I can't reach them, let's say you just get an email address, okay? Say you have a blog or a web page and you're marketing your house or looking for tenant buyers, and they fill in, a lot of people just fill in their email address. A lot of people don't even ask for the phone number anymore, okay, because they want people not to go to another web page. If I get an email address, I go to something called iJot. Now, you guys who are following me know I use this religiously, EYEJ as in John, OT, iJot.com. It's free, and if I get an email, I just do a video email back. The response rate is 10 times higher than just sending a normal email to people. Okay, and I'll say, hi, Mr. Serrano. I got to see that you contacted my office or on my webpage. I'd like to speak to you about your property, or if you're an investor, I have something very lucrative here that can give you an unbelievable yield in your area. Could you call me today before 4:30, please? Boom. And then on that iJot, I can also attach, I can attach a brochure. I can attach the postcard again so they know why we're talking. And that, to me, if you don't have the phone number, the next best thing is sending a video email. Any comment on that, Henry?
No, I think it is, because at that point, Claude, I think there's a little bit of skepticism when you give a phone call sometimes, or you have an email. You don't know who's behind that email. There's all this stuff from emails from Nigeria and this and that. And I think with a video, now somebody can basically see you and hear you, and that credibility level goes all the way up.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, my big marketing thing is I have my phone number on my webpage, on my blogs. All my emails have my phone number. If I can't answer my phone, we have a secretary or we have an answering service answer the phone. We get back to people right away. This is the kind of old school marketing you have to do. I have one fellow, Tyler Skipper. All Tyler does in terms of marketing is he's in North Carolina, and they're very bandit sign friendly. Bandit signs, believe it or not, still have a good value depending on the area you're in. I know some areas, like here in California, they don't like bandit signs. They take them down, or you can even get fined for them. But in some more rural country areas, and you can hang up these signs, and he hangs them up every week. And my gosh, he gets phone calls from people. They're from their cars, from their cell phones. These are the kind of calls that take you to the bank. These are the money calls. This is what marketing is all about, talking to people. And if you talk to enough people every day, you go to the bank, you do deals, you find properties, you find investors, you find tenant buyers. That's the kind of marketing I'm talking about this evening. But just going through the motions of spending a lot of money on expensive web pages and blogs and all these other things without a phone call, direct phone call eventually, is a waste of time and money. That's why a lot of people get so frustrated in this business. They're spending all this money on marketing, and they think the answer is all the, and believe me, I love electronics, I love all this technology and stuff, but eventually it has to lead to one thing, and that's a phone call, Henry. That's all it does. Just to bring, you want to comment on that? Because I want to go back to one thing here real quick.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
I'm going to explain to you guys, you know, most of the deals that I do, it's because I've contacted and talked to that person on a one-on-one relationship. I mean, it's not to say that you can close a deal, you know, back and forth emails with technology and everything else, but people are very skeptical in this situation. I buy and sell property all across this country, and so the way that I've been able to do that, though, is over the phone. I mean, there's email, there's technology and everything else, but my phone is the #1 strategy to be able to talk to these people and relate to them.
It's all about giving good phone. I went back to our little tacky little package here because we've sold 8 of these already. We only have 20. We've sold 8 of these already, and this is my, for those of you who came in late, this is my $595 gut sales training package. And we said for the first 20 people, now it's the first, gosh, I think we have 12, what did I say, 8? We have 12 left on this, and that's our digital package. They just have to call 970-281-5151 or go to claudediamond.com and click on the tab. And that's also going to include a private webinar, too, for anyone who purchases that. I want to go back to where we were here on and talk about virtual assistants for a second. I will go to the full screen. A lot of people are talking now about, this is the big buzzword right now, Henry, virtual sales assistant. What is there, Odesk, and what are the other systems where you can hire people from this country or other countries to do a lot of the sales and marketing for you? Yes, I wonder if you think I have a problem with this too, Henry.
Well, I think you and I have a little bit of a difference here, but you're right. I think there is a problem, you know.
What do you think the difference will be? Go ahead. I'll let you take the lead on this.
You know, what I have seen is that a lot of these virtual assistants, there's a huge learning curve. That's what I noticed, where a lot of people come to me and they're saying, hey, do you have a VA that I can use? Or, you know, where do I go to find one? You know, or I just, you know, they're on the opposite side of the world. So when I'm in bed, they're up, you know, so there's a lot of different time conflicts. So there's a lot of different things that people need to overcome with virtual assistants. You know, not only that, but the language barriers. So that's another situation there, you know, also.
I think the way they're presented to people, it's an unbelievable waste of money in most cases, because these virtual assistants people are thinking that these people will sell for them or will qualify leads for them. And they're not properly trained. They have language barriers. I get these calls too, just like everybody else does, because I have properties out there, and I get these phone calls. Half the time, it's either someone I can't understand very well, or it's a bad connection because it's a VoIP, and they don't always use the highest speed internet. And a lot of times, they just don't have any selling skills. They have no gut sales method. If you're going to use a virtual sales assistant, you have to simplify their job. I am not against having assistants in marketing, but the virtual sales assistant should be just making phone calls and maybe getting a phone number for you, or getting an email address for you. If you're going to run this business, it is a business. You are the one who has to take the lead in the sales. Just like we saw Leo DiCaprio in the beginning of this thing. He picks up the phone, he talks to people, he creates that emotional stimuli, and he gets someone to say, yes, I want to do it. You're not going to be able to hire somebody unless you spend a great deal of time with them and work with them to be able to make any kind of closings for you. All they can do is maybe set you up. Now, I use somebody who's been working for me for years. I use several people, actually, one in Canada and one in Colorado, and all they do is make phone calls for me to leads that I have developed, and they set up appointments for me. Every day they set up preset appointments for me for 15 minutes. And I qualify the people. I use my 3-minute timer, and I say, gee, is this somebody I can do a deal with? Do they have a property? Do they want to get into a property? Are they an investor? And so I have someone set up appointments for every day. This business is about speaking to enough people. The people I mentor, I tell them they have to speak to at least 5 people a day. That's 25 to 35 a week in order to make the kind of money that these gurus are promising. Okay? It's the only way it's going to work. There is no automated system that is going to make you, you know, I'm hearing some here, I'm really on a tangent, Henry. Stop me if I go over the line, okay?
Well,
I'm hearing some of the, go ahead.
Well, you know, do you want to hear a nugget here, Claude? I don't know if those people in the audience, you guys want to hear a little nugget, because I do use virtual assistants. And so if you guys do this little nugget, I'm going to explain something that's going to save you guys a tremendous amount of time working and training these individuals, because I'll be honest, these people won't last forever. There's a lot of good VAs that are out there, but the key thing is you spend a lot of time in training. What I would suggest first is that you would create some sort of training package and basically have it recorded. You can do it on Jing, you can do it on Screencast, you can do it on Snagit. And what you want to do is you want to basically record your screen of all the duties that you want, because that's one of the key things I notice. A lot of people just don't give good clarification. And when you record it now, if that VA happens to leave, now you've got the recording and the training all put together, and all what you need to do is send that to the virtual assistant to go ahead and get them trained. That's why that's why you only have to do it once, and that's it. And so that's what I learned, because I did that. I kept on losing virtual assistants, and I had to retrain them and retrain them and retrain them. And so in this instance, what I've done now is I've recorded everything on what I want done specifically, and I send them my videos to be able to train them. That's what saved me a lot of time and effort, Claude, to be able to do that.
And you're giving good direction, and that's really smart.
Yes.
But I think when we say virtual assistants, I'm getting the idea, the way it's being sold out there, is that these people are going to do the selling for you.
Yep, that's one of the things, because people are afraid of the phone.
They're afraid of the phone, and folks, if you're afraid of the phone, then you got to read my book, read my package, because you've got to give, to make the money that we're talking about, that you could be the smartest person in the room when it comes to amortizations and lease purchasing and wholesale real estate. Doesn't really matter how smart you are, how much you know about this business and the strategies and the contracts and the legalities. You've got to be a great communicator. You've got to use your powers of persuasion, of influence, in order to make people give you their home or give you money to get into a home that you're setting up. And you have to do it quickly. You have to do it in 1, maybe 2 at the most phone calls, because if you're not getting a commitment, you're not getting contracts based on your superb communication skills and the system you're using, it will not work. And Henry, I think we agree on a lot of things, but the trouble is the time to take, as you mentioned, to train these people. I've got one fella, I think he's been with me about 13 years. I have a new fella. I've known him for almost a year. He's been working with me. It takes a lot of time to find these people, to train them properly, and to make sure that they're saying something that represents what your organization, what your business is about. I think a lot of people, they pick up the phone, they spend all this money on the leads, they shoot themselves in the foot, and then it's all gone to waste, everything. What I'm hearing some of these gurus on some of the seminars and things, and they're overstating, oh, I do 5 deals a day, I do 5 deals a week, I do 25 deals a month. And don't ask me about my opinion on that, but read my lips. But I'm wondering to myself, okay, all right, and then they talk about all these different systems, and we have software to do all this and everything like that. No, the only way you're going to do any kind of volume of deals or money, or make the money you want, is to give good phone. I'm going to beat that puppy to death, okay, until it gets through to everybody. It doesn't really matter how smart you are, how much knowledge you are, how much money you spend. It's always going to stop at your doorstep and how you communicate, how you get commitment, how you create that sense of urgency in people. Go ahead, Hen.
No, I mean, I think that's the key thing is that's what you want to be able to do, but you got to have good, clear, specific directions no matter who you have. And that's imperative. That's just imperative that you need to have some sort of directions and have that plan.
We have any questions, Henry?
We're getting a ton of questions.
Tonight?
I've been answering them in the chat box. A couple of people have been asking about the software that that you can do it. One of them is Jing, Jing, by TechSmith, or Snagit, Sangit. I think it's $49, and it records your screen. So you guys need to specifically lay everything out. So those are some of the questions that we're asking about in regards with virtual assistants. I mean, I'm not opposed to them. I mean, I know this is where you and I have a little bit of the difference, Claude, but I talk to my buyers and sellers. That is what I do. My VA, like you said, handles all the back end stuff, all the follow-ups, the research, the sending out the emails, or whatever they need to do on my websites. But you need to be able to use them efficiently, Claude. That's the key thing that I see.
Let's talk about technology just quickly for 1 minute before we take some questions. I told you folks I use iJot. I am also a big fan of Evernote. Evernote to me is where between my iPad, my iPhone, my laptops, I can save my notes. I can take pictures of the property and upload them. And it's free, folks. It's like having this gigantic notebook with web pages, with notes, with emails, with pictures, with descriptions, with video, audio. And it's all there in one place that you can store all your properties, all your leads, all your prospects, and it's free. Why isn't everybody using it? And the wonderful thing is it synchronizes. I also use Dropbox a lot for transferring files and things like that. Those are my absolute three, iJot, Dropbox, and Evernote. They are my three favorite pieces of application online that I use. A technology, I use an iPhone, I have an iPad, I have an iPad mini I just got. I want to have my office travel with me when I'm on an airplane, when I'm in a car, when I'm going out. I even take runs. Henry, tell them about the time. How many times have you got me when I'm out there jogging and I have my iPhone on I'm listening to some music or a book or something, and you were able to reach me?
Yeah, I mean, that was so critical. I mean, yeah, I was able to go ahead and Skype right through there, and you were able to message right back to me, Do
you know how many? And I use also, I use Google Voice, ladies and gentlemen, and it's free, it's wonderful. Google Voice basically is where Google gives you a phone number, and then you can put inside their online software all your other phone numbers, your home phone, your office phone, your cell phone, your Skype phone. You can put in all these phone numbers, and this one Google Voice number will ring all these different numbers. So if you're like me, who travels between different states, different homes, and has a multitude of phone numbers, this is the way to give people one number. By the way, for anybody who wants that package, 970-281-5151. We have 8 packages left, Henry. They're almost all gone for the $99 special.
Can I just say something real quick on that, Claude?
Sure.
One of the things, they're saying, well, why are we limiting them? It's because, and I don't know if you really touched on this that much, Claude, but the thing is the webinar, you guys. You can see a lot of good content that we do here. And so, obviously we have, hundreds of people here on the webinar right now, so there's only so many questions we can answer and talk. And someone was asking me, what am I doing? I'm answering a lot of questions as much as I can. But some of the things that the reason why we're limited to 20 is because when we do this bonus webinar, you guys, it's going to be almost a one-on-one situation where you're going to be talking to us, on one-on-one, asking your questions, role-playing, bringing these situations up. That's the reason why that we're limiting to 20 people, because I've had a couple of people ask that question, and that's why, because we want to give them the one-on-one attention. Webinar is probably going to last, I mean, we've done at least a couple of hours. I know that, Claude, on webinars. And we give
and we love that. And we can do role playing, and we can do role playing. We can answer questions. Maybe we can even, if we can find a way, we can either use Google Video or we can use Skype, where we can all see each other. And that's why we want to keep it small. We want to keep it intimate. That's how information gets exchanged in just a great place. There goes I should have shut off my other phone here. I'm sorry. That's the way that system works. I just wanted to make another announcement. I have a speaking engagement this February at the Beverly Hills Country Club with Sam Sadat's club up there, February 26th. Henry and I, we're doing a little seminar out there in Fresno on what, March 29th, Henry?
Yeah, March 29th. And one of the things that I do here is I do have a local meetup real estate group that I work with. But what we're deciding to do is we're going to have a Saturday-only investor workshop here in Fresno. And we're doing that from 9 to 5, where we're going to bring in different speakers. We're actually going to be having we're looking at getting the mayor to speak also to talk about what the city council is doing for investors to bring them back in to help invest in their city. So, in that sense, I mean, if you're here in either Northern California or California itself, it's going to be a Saturday event, great event. Claude, you're going to be speaking there also in regards with sales.
I'm going to talk about my gut sales method, persuasion and influence, controlling the environment in sales.
Right. Well, so it'll be a great event coming up.
It is. Also, for those of you here in Southern California, the San Diego Creative Investors Association, Bill Tan's wonderful club on April the 8th. I will be the keynote speaker there. Also on sales, persuasion, and creative real estate. And let's ask the obvious question. Beverly Hills on the 26th of February, Fresno on March 29th, San Diego April 8th, and I probably have some other speaking. Why am I doing all this speaking, Henry? Why do we do this stuff? We're talking about marketing today, aren't we?
Yep. Yep. They just naturally.
What happened?
Yeah. Well, it brings in leads. I mean, that was one of the things, my last thing that you and I did there in San Diego. I actually have a gentleman who introduced me to someone in Florida that's looking for property to buy. She's an investor. And so right there, that was a natural lead flow. I called her up and I'm finding her property, what she's looking for. That's another way, because Edwin had asked the question, he doesn't have any money to advertise. If I don't have money to do mailers, to hire a VA, do this. There's these other events, you guys, that you can do also. So don't think that if you don't have money, you can't market. That's not true. You can talk for free at some of these events. It may not cost you. Get involved with your meetup group. If you don't have any leads to call, look into Craigslist. Look for sale by owners, www.fsbo.com. I mean, so if you don't have the money, there is ways to do it, because that's what I had to do when I didn't have any money for marketing, Claude.
And you said a very good point. You don't have to spend a fortune on marketing. You don't have to go broke before you're making money. And then you mentioned meetups. And, Meetup. Everybody, if they're not using Meetup.com, M as in Mary, EETUP.com. Meetup.com is an organization that organizes different groups, everything from tiddlywinks to creative real estate, financing, CEO, whatever you want. You can find a group on Meetup.com. You can go to that group. You can speak for 5 minutes, or at least hand out your business cards, or get the list of the people attending. You now have leads. I've done this all over. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it was just funny that you're bringing it up, because one of your mentees, Larry Gill, they're actually doing an event there in Seattle on May 3rd. That day too. And the crazy thing about this is I just got a chat here, or a question, someone asking me, when are we going to be in Seattle? What we're doing right now, these webinars, what we're doing is something that we're connecting people. So we had somebody who lives looks like in Seattle asking us when we're going to be there, and actually Larry Gill's going to be having their event there May 3rd. So,
I think we're going to be invited to that too. I didn't have a confirmation on it, but we're going to be there. I love talking about real estate. You know what I like to do at these things? I like to do role plays. I like to make it all real. What's it like talking to people with their stalls, their objections, the questions they ask? How do we really this is the way you really make money in this business. You've got to talk to enough people. You've got to stop being a secret. You've got to be able to pick up the phone and contact them, email them. We've got to get back to the core roots of sales and marketing. We've got to get back to talking belly button to belly button with these people. There's no software. There's no web page. There's no blog. There's no virtual assistant who's going to make you money in creative real estate. You've got to do it yourself, and that's why you've got to work on your sales. And let me tell you something, folks. I often say that I'm probably I'm a former world's worst salesperson, okay? I was the kid who sat in the back of the room, never raised his hand, never made eye contact, never asked the pretty girl to dance or anything. And I decided, I learned this stuff. I studied Dale Carnegie. I read books by Dottie Walters. I read, by the way, Dale Carnegie has some great stuff on public speaking. There's also Toastmasters, which is very inexpensive, and they're in every major city. You can learn the skills of speaking to people, communicating. If you read my book on the gut sales method, I have 3 simple steps for learning how to qualify someone up front, stay in control, and how to get the information you need to decide whether or not you got a prospect or you're wasting a lot of time. So I think we've hit on a lot of points here. You want to go to a question or two there, Henry?
Yeah, another thing that someone was asking is, you know, what about LinkedIn? And I do have something about that. I know you're on LinkedIn, Claude. I actually,
Yeah.
you know, and it just depends. I mean, this is another free way to get in. So in this thing, for example, as you know, I do a lot of vacant land. That's my primary premise. And so what I've done is LinkedIn has a land speculator group. Well, I connect and I send emails, 4 or 5 emails every day to people in that group. And that's the whole thing that you want to be able to do, because that builds up your list. So if you're wholesaling or rehabbing, they have groups for that. So LinkedIn is another area because, you know, Claude, a lot of people here, you know, it seems like they're on a tight shoestring budget. So there's things that you just mentioned to be able to get out there and market. Every single day you want to talk to at least 5 new people, Claude. That's the most important thing. Whether it's iJob videos, going out talking to people, going to meetups, do something every single day to go ahead and build up your network.
You know, you mentioned something about LinkedIn. I don't think most people use LinkedIn the way you described. The really top salespeople use LinkedIn as a lead-in for cold calling or for making a warm connection. You know, I know one guy, he's joined many different groups. He has a very vertical marketing. He has to market to CFOs, CEOs, people like that. And you know how he gets past the guardian at the gate, Henry?
What's that? Go ahead.
He basically goes to the guardian. He goes to the guardian at the gate. He says, "Hi, can I speak to Mr. Smith? I'm in his private group, and I just had a quick question to ask him." Well, the secretaries go, "Oh, his private group and everything," and you go in and say, "Hi, Mr. Smith. I'm in your LinkedIn group, and I hope you don't mind. Just had a quick question I wanted to ask you." Now, some of these people really participate in LinkedIn, okay? And this is the way it gives you an opportunity to break down the barriers. You pick up the phone, you get past the guardian, and then you introduce yourself as someone, a member of their group, and you have a question. They're not going to be rude or hang up to you. It could happen, of course, but the thing is, you're a member of their private little club, and that's the way you use this LinkedIn as a means of introduction, as a means to getting through with people, okay? This is, your social networking is just a means for picking up the phone and getting to people. Same thing, Twitter, Facebook, all this stuff. Is it making your phone ring? If your phone is not ringing or you're not getting emails from people every day that you can connect with, then you're doing something wrong. I know a lot of us are doing Craigslist also in terms of marketing. Craigslist is the kind of thing where every 3 days you have to re-enter your ad, and you've got to make it enticing. There has to be some incentive or reward. We don't have one of our webinars we're going to do in the future is on the psychology of sales and marketing. When you run an ad, if you just run the typical ad like everybody else does, you're not going to get a response. It has to be unique. It has to give them a reward, and you have to have credibility in that marketing. Same thing with the yellow letters. If they get that same yellow letter all the time, what effect do you think it really has on people? So it's got to be the quality of the list, the quality of the material, and does it create the reaction you want? Is it getting you emails? Is it making the phone ring? And just to sum up, we were talking about meetups, we were talking about public speaking. All these things are ways to get you on the phone talking to 5 people a day. That's all I want you to take away from today. Am I talking to 5 sellers? Am I talking to 5 investors? Am I talking to 5 tenant buyers or people who want to buy my properties or my notes? That's what you have to set up a business model that gives you that reaction. Go ahead, Henry. You got questions or anything?
Yeah, well, I have a couple of people saying that they've been going to voicemail when they tried calling in, so I'm just telling them to call back. If you
been going to voicemail?
Yeah, I don't know how many are left, but I've had a couple people saying that it's going into voicemail. They had to leave a message.
Oh, it's going, okay.
So, but if you know, just keep on trying, guys. You know, don't worry
Good.
if you happen to go through voicemail.
I'm sorry. That's because we got so many phone calls at the same time. The system's over. It's one of those technology shortfalls. It's what we call a good problem, Henry. So anybody who wants my package, it's $99. It's $5.95. We're selling it for $99 with a private seminar, a private webinar with Henry and I that we're going to set up, and it's my complete digital package for $99 tonight. Only there's 5 sets left here on my tickler. 5 sets left, and we'll honor this until tomorrow morning or until they're all gone tonight.
Hey,
just keep calling. Go ahead, Henry.
you want to hear another nugget for LinkedIn too that we brought it up?
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, guys, you know, when we look at our profile or somebody looks at it, it gives basically a history of what we do. But the thing that you always tell me, Claude, and I know whenever you talk about this, is when you're on the phone, you're always trying to make money when, Claude?
Today, man, there is no tomorrow.
So when you make your profile, you guys, on there, leave your phone number directly in the description and say, call me today if you need help selling your property, or you need help marketing, or you need life insurance, or whatever your business is. Put your phone number directly in your description for a call to action. It's funny, Claude, how nobody does. They leave a whole string of information about them and their history. They went to school and worked at this job and that job. That's great, but you know what? What are you going to do for me, Claude? How are you going to help me? And in that description, it's basically a little advertisement. You know, call Claude today to sell your property now. You know, something, that call of action that they need to put in there, Claude, and it's helped out. I've done that, and I've had people call me right then and there because it's in the description, and they're not having to click the contact tab.
You know, you kind of reminded me also, a lot of people, believe it or not, Henry, do not leave a voicemail. A lot of these leads that they're paying for, they get the voicemail and then they hang up. You always, this question is asked to me almost every day, do you leave a voicemail? The answer is unbelievably yes. Always leave a voicemail. Always sound, and don't sound like everybody else. Be original. Write your, be creative. Say, hi, Mr. Prospect. This is Claude Diamond. I'm getting back to you. I think this is about real estate, or I was interested in your real estate. Could you call me today before 3:30 at this number? Boom. Always act like you're getting back to someone. Go ahead.
No, you know, Claude, that's it. So many times, a lot of us, we don't do that, or we don't leave a call to action. Oh, I'm just returning your message. Thank you. And it's not, no, call me here before 5 o'clock, or call me, today if you can, or I'm not going to be back till Wednesday. You need to have that call to action for them to be able to do something, and that is so key. And that's what I'm saying. Any type of marketing that I do, it's some sort of call to action to do something today, and that's the key thing a lot of people just leave out. You want them to go ahead and make that phone call right now.
It's a funny thing. A lot of the things we've been talking about today are minimal cost. I spend very, very little on marketing now. I used to spend, in the old days before the internet, the Stone Age, I used to be in Money Magazine, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, New York Times, Entrepreneur Magazine, because that's the only vehicle we had for advertising. Literally thousands of dollars per month, newspaper ads, classified ads, and things like that. And today, I literally, for a pretty successful business, I spend very little money in maintaining some web pages and blogs. I do occasionally a little bit of paid advertising on Google AdWords or Facebook, but very, very little, because there's so many other ways to stimulate interest for your real estate business or whatever you're doing. And these are some of the things we spoke about today are directly related to saving you money, because too many people, unfortunately, go broke before they ever get started in this business.
Yep,
and,
no, that's true.
And it's, and I unfortunately, I think sometimes a lot of people misinform that it's the strategy that's in the strategy and the gimmicks that are important. No, it's always going to come back to be sales. One of the things I teach my students, we had a discussion today in one of our sessions, I tell my students not to give presentations, not to answer questions, and to say the 3 most important words in sales, which are, I don't know. You want to get information. You don't want to give information until you have qualified the prospect up front, until you have a commitment or a tentative commitment. You know who you're dealing with. You don't want to get in your car unless you're going to pick up a check or a contract. In order to do this, you got to give good phone. You got to ask the tough questions up front. You've got to qualify that you're speaking with the decision maker. How are those decisions made? And are there other people part of that decision-making process, whether it's the buyer, the seller, the investor, or another professional in the business? And we use all these different methods that we're talking about today, web pages. I had something here on blogging. I do a lot of blogging. I love Tumblr, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm talking faster than I usually do because we're almost out of time here. These are some of the software that we use. I love my iPad and iPhone. I love the portability, and I talked about DropNote and iJot and all those other things. Social networking, YouTube. Oh my gosh. For those of you, claudediamond.com/cdmentor, excuse me, youtube.com/cdmentor. I have 170 videos. If you're not making videos of your properties or of an area of interest, then you're missing the boat. I can't tell you how many leads and phone calls I get in my real estate business through YouTube. We could do a seminar just on YouTube someday, Henry.
Yeah, I mean, Devin, that's something right there. There's some of the people are saying you get a little bit of a feedback. I don't know what the connection, or unless you want to come back and sign in again, but just
now we're almost out of time here.
Right.
Sorry about that, folks. It's still a developing technology, and if anyone can suggest a better one, then what are we using right now? What's this webinar stuff called? GoToWebinar.
Well, it's unfortunately GoToWebinar's the only one that here that we're able to use it to have the thing. Google Hangouts, and we'll talk a little bit about that at some point. But that's something there, that we can go ahead and work on and talk about. But go ahead. So you got the next slide up here about what was that slide that you have right up there, Claude, that you're coming up? You had the Walmart sign and developing a unique plan. There you go.
Yeah.
Why don't you touch about developing a plan then, Claude? Talk about that. Tell us about what you're developing for your business.
I want basically multiple streams of income for my real estate business. I want my own portfolio of real estate. Everybody should have a goal of having a few properties that generate a certain amount of income. I prefer lease purchasing, of course, just because it's true leverage. I'm able to, and for those of you just starting, it's a way to control the real estate without having to go to the bank, without having to tie up a lot of money. It's a way to be a player. You want to have a plan where you're able to talk to enough people who have properties for sale and for rent. And to develop that marketing plan, it's a combination of blogs, web pages, social networking, videos on YouTube, public speaking, and yes, don't take me the wrong way, losing my voice here, on postcards and yellow letters. All these things are fine, but make sure you're getting value. If you're spending $1, make sure you're getting $1.05 back, okay? If you're spending $1 and losing $1, it's tough to recover from that stuff, folks. Make sure you're spending, if you're going to spend money on a marketing plan or with a company, make sure you have written guarantees. Make sure they give you referrals. Make sure they're an established company. Get yourself some guarantees. Some people get guarantees. Some people take it for granted. Make sure that your money is working for you. Protect your capital, your working capital. Protect your money on this. Henry, I think we're about out of time here.
Yeah, we got another question here real quick, though.
Go ahead.
Some people said that they've already maybe bought the Guts package, and they still want to participate in the webinar. If you sign up, here, which is the 99 package, it includes a webinar, but I'm sure, Claude, you'll probably throw in something extra if they already have the Guts package.
If you already, I'll just do this. If you already have the Guts sales package, I'll just throw in another package and substitute it for you. That's not an issue.
Yeah, another quick little plug, and it's a whole new webinar, you guys, but another way to make a revenue stream is being a consultant. And I know Claude's working on that package, which is going to be phenomenal, you guys. it's a strategy and a technique a lot of people aren't using, which you should. You're leaving a lot of money on some of these deals that are dead, you know. So those are some of the things that we may talk about here in the future, but the consulting is a great area also.
Let me, you know, you hit a hot button with me. The consulting is a way. There's so many situations where I get phone calls from people in different states, far away, from deals that there's just not enough money, or they don't for me to do the deal, or they don't want me in the deal. I get phone calls from other countries. Got a phone call from New Zealand last week, okay, on a lease purchase. Now, how do we turn our, you know, we're spending all this money on knowledge, on learning, on seminars, on books and tapes and things like that. Don't miss a profit-making opportunity when someone wants to pick your brain. And I think I'm the only person in this industry who ever talks about this stuff. Besides sales training, I think we need to talk more about the making money with consulting, taking your time, knowledge, and energy and turn it into a profit-making situation. It's just a question of confidence. And I often tell my students, if you don't have all the answers, that's okay. Come back to me. I'll help you with it. And I just want to see you make money. I don't care how much you make by remarketing yourself and your time and your knowledge. And that's you know, gosh, we'll do a seminar on that someday too, Henry.
Oh, well,
Henry,
okay.
I've only got 3 packages left here on the $99 package. So if anyone wants to call 970-281-5151 or go to claudediamond.com. Or Henry, you're going to just send everybody a link tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, it's also in the chat box, you guys. So that's something there if you want. You know, you can sign up through there also. So I'll resend it there through the chat box. But you guys, I'm going to tell you, I mean, the $97 just for the webinar alone is unreal. I mean, that you're gonna get a wealth of information on this webinar that's going to be recorded too. So it's probably going to be close to an hour and a half of just pure training. So that's why we're only keeping it to 20 people, because we want to make sure that we answer everybody's question right on that part.
Oh, there goes another. We've got 2 left. Okay, listen, I'm going to go. And Henry, basically, I think we just gave a lot of ideas and a lot of subjective opinions on marketing as it is today, and some of the things that we're doing successfully, and you know, getting out there, being proactive, talking to enough people on a regular basis, and watching your budget is the key to being successful in creative real estate or any business. So make sure for every dollar you spend, you get that dollar back. And I think on that last note, Henry, I'll give you the last word before we say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah, hey, thank you very much, you guys. If you have questions, like I said, you have both our emails. You got Claude Diamonds there. I'll go ahead and I'll send you guys my email too. That probably came with the webinar. But if not, just send us both. Some of the things, definitely sign up for, you know, just the webinar itself. It's a lot of good information. But go ahead and do that. Like I said, we got a lot of good things coming up here. And you know, like I said, I think we'll have another webinar. When, Claude? It's going to be coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
We have so many speaking engagements. Probably in 2 or 3 weeks we'll do another one. I would love to do one not only on consulting but on the psychology of sales.
Yeah.
Why should people buy from us? How do we gain that instant trust, that rapport? So how come some people are always able to make money and sell, and other people struggle so often? And we want to get into the key emotions, and how do we influence and persuade people to want to do business with us? Yeah. It's one of my favorite little topics. Henry, I've got my sheet up there, my contact information. Why don't you give folks your phone number too?
Yeah, if they want to, they can go ahead and I put my email there, and they can go ahead, and this is my home office. I do answer my own phone. That's real key. We always talk about that, and so that's something you want to be able to do from that standpoint. So you got the information, you guys, to give us a call. You know, like I said, Claude's really great at lease options, the consulting side. I'm good on the wholesaling, on the land, on, you know, especially a lot of houses that I've done too, and rehabs. So a lot of talent between 2 of us, you guys. So go ahead and reach out for information, whatever you need. But hopefully you signed up for the webinar. That's going to be a fantastic webinar, and you can bring all your questions, you know, to that also.
There you go. Well, listen, have a good evening, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, you guys, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.